Hello, folks. I always wanted to. I always want to give it a second because
Oh
you
yeah.
never know which. But hi, everybody. We're here. We are here for the final day of E3 2021. I know that there is technically some other stuff going on tomorrow. I don't care. I'm done. It's been a week. Fuck it. Let's just be done with this. All right. We're calling it here. E3 is done. It's the final day we're doing this. All right. I had to skip out going to Digimon tonight. All right.
Yeah, I had to skip out on Wardlow World tonight.
Yeah, we're all sacrificing right now.
I had my Wardlow hair on and everything. I was ready to go.
Yeah, terrible. So we're here to talk about the last day of E3. It was one conference, basically one stream, which was Nintendo's. They had their 40-minute Nintendo Direct. Of course, today it is me, John. I'm here to host the show. With me as co-hosts our esteemed returning friends. We have Maverick. Maverick, you're here.
I am. Yeah, it's over. We made it.
We did.
You survived.
I mean, let's not count the next hour because who knows who's gonna just keel over in the next half an hour.
There were some announcements today that might end with us being slain.
Yeah. Yeah. Christine, you're here.
I am. I am here to the chaos is over. The E3 is done. Thank God.
Vanquished?
Vanquished. Yeah. E3 devoured.
Jack has completed his mission. Chaos is dead.
Oh.
Thanks, Jack. This one's to you.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, we have Rose here, who seems to be at some sort of PlayStation event, even though that I guess doesn't exist. What are you doing, Rose?
Oh, you weren't invited?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, well, they were trying to show me that The Last of Us is good, so they invited me to a special thing where they were going to explain to me why The Last of Us remake will change gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Rose, that sounds like a saw trap. It sounds like a jigsaw trick.
You know it. There's no doors in here anymore. So,
Truckman's coming out on a little tricycle.
Yeah, we'll get you out of there after the stream. Okay, so just sit tight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, Solon, also as well, thank you for coming on. Last minute to produce. Scott was all geared up, but there were some technical difficulties, but you swooped in to help us out, so thank you so much, Solon.
This is what Scott trained me to do. I'm just in case. We got this.
All right. Excellent. So let's dive right into it. We have the whole Nintendo Direct to talk about. I thought it was great. I mean, of course I would, but overall, I felt like this was a very well received event, well received stream. We could just dive right in here. First thing they showed up. First thing was the Smash trailer. A lot of us were kind of expecting them to do like a 2-trailer thing, maybe like one at the front, one at the end, to just be done for good. But I guess they do have one last one. They revealed the second to last character. There's still one left, and the character they revealed this time was Kazuya from Tekken.
Yes,
I feel like that was that I think was a really good pull. It's neat that there is a big good collection of characters from all the different big fighting games. You got your Street Fighter with Ryu, you got KOF with Terry, and now you got Kazuya with Tekken. And there's other Tekken characters that people kind of want more. Like there's Heihachi, there's King. There's a lot of different characters, but Kazuya's still a good pick, I feel. How do we all feel about Kazuya?
I mean, that was the greatest opening to an intro trailer for any of these characters. Just like, hey, everybody loves the part where he throws people into volcanoes. Let's just do that for everyone. Also, he looks rad.
Yeah.
I remember talking to a couple of people, and they were like, "Oh, I wonder how I do X move," and then they show X move as part of his move list, and it's like, this is so good. This is so good. Let's just throw him off the cliff and
Fuck
beautiful. And have his whole move set. It's so dumb. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm never gonna bemoan the inclusion of another fighting game character because hey, it's good when your fighting game has fighting game characters. No, in real, I feel like there's a lot of like jokes that get put out between like, oh, is it gonna be a sword fighter or is it gonna be some mascot character? And when you have these additions, it really does help to remind like, yeah, no, this ultimately is a games preservation project to an extent, and so being able to highlight a lot of these characters that fit outside of that mold really helps to like showcase what exactly Smash Bros is about at this point.
I agree with that. Yeah, I was really excited about it. I'm not like the biggest Tekken person, but I do like Tekken. So
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah. Way more than with Ryu. I think I was like, hell yeah. Even if I think Ryu belongs there, obviously.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. He looks really cool. His moves look really neat. You know, there's just like every possible Kazuya, like, you know, they have all the different chains and all that. It looks really neat. I'm pretty excited for that. And we're gonna have a full reveal, I guess, with the whole like Sakura explanation on the 28th. So that'll be nice to see. The next thing I wrote down, which I think confused a lot of people, was they did show that the Life is Strange games are coming to Switch, and they had a cartoon, like animated teaser. So people were like, "Is this like a new thing? Is this something different?" But no, it's just those games. They're coming to Switch. I mean, you know, that's fine. Do you feel like this
played
will?
all of them? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I is there a new audience for Life is Strange? Is my thing. Like, who is?
I mean,
They have made more gays in the time that the first Life is Strange has come out.
well, I've played all of. I like Before the Storm, like everything. Like I feel like if you were in Life is Strange, you were in it, and I feel like you would also already be in it today. Like even ignoring the time differential, like.
I mean, that's the wild thing, though, is that I feel like anytime any game gets ported to Switch, it gets so many new sales, like no matter what it is. So
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
guess.
about a year out of like last June, there are definitely more people that have Switches now that are probably still like, well, I bought this expecting to do more, and then I kind of like fell off Animal Crossing with all my friends after they begged me to download it. What else can I use this for? Like, there are very much a slew of new gamers out there, not even people who want to play video games and not return a thing that they spent like $300 on. So having stuff like this will definitely help in the absence of other consoles or a PC.
Well, I sure do love to play games on my Switch, so
Yeah.
So you're gonna play Life is Strange, yeah?
probably not.
What's
Yeah,
the truth?
I
What's
mean,
the
it's
truth?
probably the same for me. I liked Life is Strange, but going back to it is like, I don't feel the need to ever go back to that game again.
I think part of the problem is I think Life is Strange 1 is really hard to go back to now, just by virtue of like even Before the Storm is the one that like went all gay, you know? Like that's the one that was like just gay the entire time. Instead of like, oh, you know, there's some scenes every now and again.
Yeah.
This game contains scenes. But yeah, you know, I think I actually tried Life is Strange on like the PS4 or something, and I just couldn't really get into it. Like it was one of those things where I was like, I get why people like this, but you know,
I got so
get
excited for the cartoon at the beginning, and that was my mistake. I should have known better.
Yeah.
But it also did get me really excited for I saw folks on my Twitter timeline being like, "Oh yeah, Goodbye Volcano High's coming out."
Wow, right, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's exactly what I'm asking for, isn't it? Of course."
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up is another Monkey Ball remaster, remake, whatever the hell. They are compiling the first 3 games, 1, 2, and Deluxe, into a product called Banana Mania. That's coming out October 5th. It's Monkey Ball. It looks like that game. I guess it's gonna have all the mini games and stuff too, which is nice. So, Monkey Ball, it's back in big time.
More monkey?
Yeah.
More monkey, more balls.
Yes.
Look at that. It's Monkey Ball.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are.
that's Monkey Ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's old classic, real ass, all the Monkey Ball you could ever ask for.
Yep.
For a new generation.
For
This-
a new generation.
This is how they should have sold Life is Strange also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For new generation.
Yeah.
Get
new
your children.
generation of Monkey Ballers.
Like-
Yeah.
And there apparently is a artwork out there that you're going to be able to do Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, maybe, in a ball.
Oh.
I mean, maybe
Essentially.
they made Sonic playable in that other Monkey Ball game that came out kind of recently.
Mm.
They haven't. I think they've just like made a little piece of art to celebrate the Monkey Ball Twitter happening. I think that
Yeah.
was what that was. But I mean, who knows? We'll see. It's putting Sonic in Sega games seems to be something that they do recently. Like they put him in Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. So
Oh, there you go.
Was there any Sega contribution from this week that wasn't Monkey Ball? Because E3 was very loud that
yeah.
Sega was
Well,
here.
we'll get to that. Actually,
I mean, yeah. I mean, there
because
was
they had it in this press conference.
and I mean there was their Age of Empires. Isn't that them?
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Technically, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Mario Party Superstars. That is a kind of another compilation sort of thing here. A lot of compilations, a lot of remakes here, but like some good ones though. I will say, like all of these have been like, yeah, let's get these games that people really love and are like getting really expensive. Let's get them into compilations that should hopefully be cheaper. They have it is the first 3 Mario Party games, the N64 ones, bundled together with online capabilities, so you can be able to play online, not just with your friends, but they're going to also have like a mode where if you go in single player, you'll be able to just like hop into they'll just populate a game basically and just like throw people in to your party to play. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not a Mario Party person, but I think if you are one, this seems to be a very good package.
Wait, they took away the outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Yeah, I guess
Cowboy
they
Mario.
did, you're right.
No, Yoshi and the Wizard Hat. That's everything. No.
We don't even know if that's going to be one of the boards either. We have
Oh,
Spaceland,
God.
we have Peach's birthday cake.
Oh my god.
We don't know what the other 3 are going to be. They could be a toss-up. You have to have one of the ones from Mario Party 3 in there, which I certainly don't remember them off the top of my head. Mainly, what I'm asking for is that they reintroduce the games where you have to spin the joystick, because we've gone past the N64 days. No one
You
needs
give up the glove again.
It'll become
Pre-order
bundled with
bonus.
glove. Yeah.
This is a scam, right? This is a scam to get people to break their Joy-Cons?
Well, no, we
Yeah,
covered scams
exactly.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Of course. I just watching that was really weird because every Mario Party is a rehash of the previous Mario Parties.
Yeah.
At least to me.
That's not true. 8's cool.
There are different gimmicks in a lot of them for sure, but most of them do have the same mini games. They use the same motifs over and over
roughly,
as part of the whole thing, and some even just wholesale take mini games that work for the gimmicks of the later games. Which is not a bad thing at all, but it doesn't mean this doesn't have a purpose. It's just really funny seeing them say, "Hey, remember those old mini games?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I played them in the last one. You bringing them back? Sweet,
They
thanks."
also just did that minigame collection, like 2 years ago?
Yes, yeah. I don't
Probably more than that. I don't know.
know who's hurting for Mario Party mini games, but there's
All
more
the
of
people on all the people on Tinder who love to talk about how much they're good, how good they are at Mario Party.
Is that a thing? Mav, what?
Listen,
I'm listening.
Yeah.
The last thing I will do is tell anybody that I own a Switch, because I do not want to. They probably can beat me at Mario Kart. I don't play Mario Kart. It's not that hard to beat. It's not hard to beat me at a game that I don't play.
Yeah.
I didn't know Tinder was so Nintendo focused in a competitive way.
Listen, it's my burden to carry as a straight guy, so.
Yeah. Gotta wade through the office replies.
This is my cross to carry. This is the chaos that I must conquer.
It's
Yeah.
okay. When I got into
the
guys, I did not know that being a dom meant being good at Smash Bros.
Being a dom man, I had to be really into Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
Metroid Dread.
Fuck yeah, my man.
Oh yeah.
That looked fucking sick. That was one of the highlights of the show. I am so excited for this game. A new actual 2D Metroid. Like it's by the Metroid team as well as Mercury Steam. I have been playing Samus Returns recently, and I like it, even though, you know, there are some caveats. You know, I definitely agree that the counter move, the uppercut, it gets grating. But I think that this is just, it looks so well made. It is an actual sequel to Fusion. You're being stalked by a robot that can kill you as soon as it grabs you. So cool. So cool. There's a lot of gameplay that they showed at the Treehouse if you want to see more. I'd recommend checking it out if you do want to kind of spoil yourself a little bit. But it looks fantastic. It looks exactly what you would expect to see from a new 2D Metroid. Exactly what I want to see. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I literally pogged in real life when I saw the Metroid Dread subtitle. I was like, oh my god, they did it. They actually did it. And then all the gameplay, I wasn't expecting all of that gameplay to show like it's done, basically. Like it is ready.
It does seem like it is a fully finished game. Like I think I saw like Keeley tweet that like the website listing has its like file size already, so it's done. They're just sitting on it for like a better release date, basically.
Yeah,
Fine.
and I really like.
No, just like that's fine.
I really like how the whole thing is set up. They showed at the Treehouse thing where it's like you have to get the thing that kills the robot in each zone or whatever, so that you can explore properly. And I think that's so cool. That's such a like you have to just sit there at the end of the hallway and charge up this thing while it comes like walking towards you. It's really good.
Yeah. They got amiibos. They have like a special edition with like art books and shit like that. I don't know. It looks cool. It really looks cool, and I'm glad that they are going in on Metroid because it looks fantastic.
I loved the transitions that they showed between when it would go first person for different cutscenes and stuff, and then it would pull out to third person. There's all these like elevator scenes where you're just looking at Samus's visor, and it's just like, oh, these are such nice touches that get you into, hey, remember that the whole thing about Metroid is that it's a side-scrolling game? Because that's why it's Metroid 5. We've been so wrapped up in Metroid Prime brain that it's like...
Which, you know, Metroid Prime is great too, but this is very much like, this is the return of 2D Metroid. We feel confident enough to say this is Metroid 5. This is the sequel to Fusion. We are not, this is an actual new sequel, and I really like that. That is really cool.
Yeah.
Damn, Metroid 5 is giving me some Metroidvania vibes.
Wow.
Remind me of Symphony of the Night, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, it really reminds me of that. That I can't believe they're already inspired by like that Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth game. I'm so glad that Record of the Lotus War has this much effect on people.
The whole Luna Knights is really giving a lot of inspiration over at Nintendo.
Shut up, everyone. What's the next game, John?
The next game is the new WarioWare. They really just boom, boom, boom. They did not take a break. It was I mean, you know, there were some like segments here and there for some smaller games, but you know, it was It was what it was. I will just say in the chat, it is being pointed out that they only like very briefly mentioned Metro Prime. Like Metro Prime is, it sounds like it's just in like development hell. I think it'll be a long time until they talk about Metro Prime 4.
They had to restart.
They had to restart the entire game too. We do have to remember that. But what is coming out soon is WarioWare. They are making a brand new WarioWare. It is called Get It Together. And it I like the gimmick. It's you're moving things around with the Joy-Cons, you're doing different things, but you play as different characters, like the different denizens of Diamond City, and they each have different abilities, and they randomly choose each character, and each character interacts with each mini game differently. Like I think, for example, like 18-volt, he has to like grapple onto things to move, and I think like Mona has like a boomerang, so like she can like grab things by using the boomerang, or 18-volt has to like grab onto it from afar. Like each character interacts with each mini game differently, so you pick the 3 characters that you play as in each round, and then it cycles through the characters randomly.
Oh, Scott's adding in that it's not random. You choose a team of who you want to use, which is even better for me, because I was worried that I would have to like learn every character all the time. That's great.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like you pick 3 characters and it cycles through them randomly.
Oh, it's just King of Fighters. I get it.
Yeah, kinda. But yeah, it looks really good. It's been a long time since there's been a actual Wario. Like again, like I feel like WarioWare is very similar to Metroid. I know that sounds wild, but like there was the compilation game that was WarioWare Gold, and like that was good, but it wasn't a real new micro games. It wasn't an actual new WarioWare game with a new gimmick, and they are doing that now, and it looks really good.
You're doing right by John, Nintendo.
Yeah,
I mean, they were doing right by a lot of people. I saw like there's a new boss in town. Here's a silhouette. I know exactly what that is. I'm screaming.
It's Wario, yeah. It was good. It was really good. It looks great.
Yeah, I like all of Wario's outfits. I like that they're really making him a stylish figure. It's always good to see the biker outfit come back out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also Charles Martinet just really getting to have a lot of fun on this trailer. Like just real big vibes of him at like that E3 presentation as the big Mario had, and just yucking it up with like execs.
Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of people like arguing that Wario shouldn't talk because like they gave everyone like basically full VO for WarioWare Gold. And I absolutely disagree. I think it's really fun hearing them talk, and like Wario is just very funny, and like all the other characters like yelling at him because he's paying them like shit or not at all.
Yeah,
it's great. It's all super great. It's WarioWare. It's just more WarioWare. It's really fun. I am super stoked for that, and that is that's coming out. That's not that far away. It's only September 10th. So
yep.
And Metroid's October 8th.
I'm wondering if they'll let you make mini games in this one, like they have in the previous ones.
Well, they didn't really do that. That was only in DIY, but maybe that would be cool. We we'll see.
It'd be a little complicated, but be cool.
Yeah. We got another fresh look at SMT5, which is coming out November 12th.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That game looks fucking sick.
I legitimately rewatched that trailer multiple times just to see how much I could pick up, and there's a lot of stuff in there, like new demons, like which versions of demons they're using. Like they're not using a lot of the Conoco stuff, but they're still using some. But they're using a lot of Doi's art and like the newest version of Odin, and they're bringing in like Finn McCool and like all these more Celtic gods and stuff like that, and that's just like the coolest shit. Like I'm so glad to see new demons in there and things like that, and concepts, and God, it looks so cool. And the menus from Shin Megami Tensei, from Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and the way they did their menus. And honestly, I think that game has more style than Persona 5. So them using those for the menus, they're so clean and easy to read, and just, I'm so excited for this one.
I think it does look really nice.
Here's my takes. I think that it rips that they brought back the old press turn system because they got rid of it in 4. And I'm like, yes, give me the old one. That's great. Yeah. I love it. I also really like that it seems like this might be a sequel to Nocturne, because on the Treehouse stream, they were like, hey, this world, something happened 18 years ago. And I'm like,
Yeah.
And that guy could just be the guy you fused with or whatever at the beginning, could just be Demi Fiend, but he's like 35. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Demi Fiend, but he's paying taxes now.
Demi Fiend, but he finally got a shirt.
It's just good. I'm really excited for this. The only thing I think I'm worried about is that there will be mystical chests again. Because they brought back the night cycle or the moon cycle.
Love to run in circles until it says full, so I can open the chest and get the good item.
But the main thing that I think is just the demons in the overworld is such a good touch. That is something that I think works really well for SMT. Even if I appreciated like the stuff that they did. Actually, I might be even conflating Strange Journey with 4 in my head. Did 4 warn you when you were going to get attacked at all?
In 4 they had like the digital creatures that you could like swing your sword at, but they weren't. Yeah, they weren't like actual demons. It was just like those pixels.
Okay. Yeah, I really like this. I think it looks good. It just looks great. The animations all look really good, which is something SMT has always been lacking in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it just looks so good.
Mm. Yeah, it's rad. Really nice hair on that character. Yeah.
It's so nice.
Like, I hate bringing up Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but it does seem like a lot of this takes more from that than any of their other games, with the animations and the menus and just the overall style, and that makes me so happy.
It was a very neat game. Like, just really looked good.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this series, but they got blue hair, and I mean,
yeah.
They got me real good with that blue hair.
Yeah, Solon, you got to do the cosplay.
Solon, listen, it's just good is the thing.
It looks so so clean.
All you do is talk to demons. That's all you do.
Yeah.
All you do is talk to them, and they just say
all you do is be a bastard. Mm-hmm. You're just a bastard, and they're a bastard back. It's great.
That trailer showed me everything that I didn't know about SMT as a series and what I needed to know, and this much time, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we got maybe the funniest game trailer, or the funniest game name this E3 is what they're calling the Danganronpa collection, Danganronpa Decadence. They're doing a they're releasing 1, 2, and V3 on Switch. They're gonna have those games separate on the eShop, but then they're gonna have a physical bundle of all 3 of them, as well as a new 4th game, which is a standalone spin-off board game thing. Like, if you I think it was in V3, there was that board game mode where it was all the characters interacting and doing all the little mini games and stuff. They spun that off in its own game. It's called Danganronpa S Ultimate Summer Camp, and that will also be separate on the eShop, but it'll be included on the in the Decadence bundle. And no Ultra Despair Girls. I know that there's some people that are probably upset about that. I mean, as a completionist, even though that game very much frustrated me, and there's a lot of bad shit in that game. They probably should, they probably should have put everything in one bundle. It does feel kind of weird that they just don't have one piece of the puzzle, especially because it is a canon game that has legitimate implications to everything.
The Switch couldn't handle it.
I guess not. Yeah.
It's not strong enough.
But no matter how much I am frustrated with those games, they still mean a lot to me. And yeah, having all of them in one bundle on the Switch, that does sound like a good way to go. Like, I probably will pick up the like special collector's edition or whatever. Like, that does seem like something that I would want to get. Danganronpa always has a place in my heart, no matter what. So
A whole decade of dense.
Whole decade of despair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hell, yeah. Even if you've played through the other three, and like the summer camp game it's just going to be like the best part of those games is just seeing those characters interact. So having just a mini game where it's just everyone interacting, and like there's not as like the class trials are good. Don't get me wrong. Of course, if the class trials weren't good, then the game wouldn't be good. But it's like the class trials are here, and then like the interactions are here. It's like it's still good, but it's above. The whole game of that's still sounds cool.
I'm glad I have an excuse to actually buy a Danganronpa game instead of just watching along with someone else dubbing over it.
True.
Yeah.
Which, shout out to the original voice cast for sure. Like, I'm not saying that they're not worth it, but like that's more or less what I've seen so far, where it's like the community having fun to like do these outlandish characters, and chat rooms just exploding with text trying to explain what is very much just a case of, I like a character who's kind of an asshole. It's okay. You can like a character who's kind of an asshole. No one's gonna cancel you for it.
I might.
Oh
yeah.
well.
I mean, wait a minute. You kid Nagito? I shouldn't have done that. Oh, that fucked up my camera.
That was horrible. That was horrible.
Justine, we need you. Chaos is still here.
Chaos is not still here. I killed him. I filled out the survey. He's dead.
No, he's on my screen, and he tried to say that I killed a Danganronpa character.
Oh God! I know it. Oh, God.
Well, I hope someone lets Kanye West know about this one.
He's got to be ready. Fatal Frame.
Hell yeah.
This is the second to last Wii U game is no longer just a Wii U game. Mm-hmm.
Wii U.
Yeah, so the Wii U is officially just the Xenoblade Chronicles X machine.
Yep.
This is also going to be on PC.
For now.
Yeah, they're they announced it here for Switch, but they are porting it to PS5, PS4, Xbox, and PC. So they're just putting it on everything.
Oh, rip the Wii U! Wow.
Yeah, just not even just a Switch port. It is an everything port. Just fuck you, Wii U.
Do you think do you think you could get Nintendo to acknowledge the Wii U? Like, do you think you could get them to say the words Wii U?
No.
I don't think
What
so
was
either.
that console that the Xenoblade Chronicles thing came out for, and it's still the only one not released? Do you remember what that was, Doug?
The new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah. Look, I'm sorry for laughing at something that wasn't this. It's just I just looked at Twitter briefly and I saw the thumbnail for Metal Jesus' video reacting to the Nintendo Direct, and it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, please show that to everybody.
Oh God.
It's just
awful.
Fatal Frame it.
Yeah, Fatal Frame it.
Damn.
It's so good. But yeah.
I'm sorry.
Spooky.
Technical difficulties.
Oh no.
He got big.
Getting him.
Man, Fatal Frame's giving me some Pokemon Snap vibes.
Maverick, stop.
Yeah.
I'm just demonstrating what the Gen Z market is looking like right now.
But yeah, it would be cool if after this there were more re-releases of Fatal Frame or a sequel. It would be nice to keep Fatal Frame in the rotation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Fatal Frame 2. Let me play it again.
Mhm.
Like,
We got Advance Wars. Advance Wars is back, everybody. Like, come on. What a showing that we can say Advance Wars is back. So, it is a remaster remake of the first two games, the GBA games. They're calling it Advance Wars Reboot Camp, which is a really good name. And this is being made by WayForward, actually. So that's really cool. The animation is like I there's some people like arguing over the animation of the army guys because they made it like 3D, look kind of like little toy soldiers instead of like the pixels like it used to be. But I'm just super into how gorgeous the CO animations are.
Yeah.
Those look so cool. It is fucking amazing. Like, of course it's WayForward because they put so much effort into each character's portraits. It looks so nice. So, I hope this is, successful. I mean, the price is a bit much. They are asking for $60, but yeah, it still looks really, really nice. And it's got 4-player online. So that, that's more than what the original it's more than what the original Advance Wars was. Like some people were like, "Oh, but I could just get it on Wii U for $16." It's got online multiplayer. It's got really, really nice hand-drawn visuals here. Like, I get it. And also, maybe they'll make another one after this. I would love for them to make a new one.
Does this set a precedence to give us more Advance Wars?
I would like
let WayForward be in charge.
Yeah, give it to WayForward, because that was the whole thing, was that Intelligent Systems was like, we don't want to do it because we'd have to like you can't have like tanks date people or whatever. That was their excuse. They were like, because they were like, we can't make it like Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
and it's
we can't have somebody have a baby with a tank and a helicopter.
It's like A, shut up. B, all of these characters, like, they made all these characters in advance. Like, WayForward made all these characters hot. So if they wanted to do dating stuff, they could just do it with the COs or whatever. They don't have to be the like characters, like just. But I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like, I think what WayForward's doing is great. Like, just do this, prove them. Like that seems to be what Nintendo's doing. Like, they did it with Mercury Steam here, where it was like, yeah, here, remake one of our old games. Prove yourself, and then once you prove yourself, we will let you just make your own. So I hope that's what they do. Like, I hope that after this, they just say, yeah, make your own Advance Wars now. Just do what you want, because that was the thing that was a bit of a bummer with the like later Advance Wars, was they started to become way more serious. Like, there was like Days of Ruin and all that. That was way more dour. So I hope if WayForward keeps up with it, like WayForward's super like a chipper, like all of WayForward's games have a lot of pep to it. So it would be, well, most of them I should say, but like WayForward definitely has a history of, just making cute, fun games. So I would love to have more Advance Wars by WayForward, as long as they keep the gameplay strong and the animation strong, and I'm sure they will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like. I mean, just from what they showed off, the game looks adorable. Like, great. Like, the animations were good. The character portraits were great. I can't wait to get my hands on that, because like the last one, still being Days of Ruin, is like, what? How many years ago was that? Forever. It feels like.
I'll also say that, like, anyone that's complaining about the art style obviously hasn't seen anything about Battalion Wars, which, oddly enough, is where I get my pseudo interest in the Advance Wars series, I guess. But no, it all looks fun. I have nothing but high hopes for this kind of a series, especially now of all times. Like, it just makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, a game that plays like Battalion Wars would be cool too. Battalion Wars is pretty good. I mean, yeah, the art design wasn't anywhere near as good, but that gameplay was still pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of stuff that they showed that, we're going to talk about here, is they had like a Zelda section at the end. They talked about the Skyward Sword remaster that's coming out soon. They showed that again. They talked about the Age of Calamity expansion pass. You know, I didn't really look into that too much, but they talked about how the first wave is coming out on the 18th, and then they're going to have the second wave of DLC in November. You know, I feel like that. Oddly enough, I feel like that game passed by way faster than original Hyrule Warriors, and that kind of surprises me. You know, maybe people are just kind of sick of that kind of game, but I don't know.
Here's what I think it is. Okay, I think Breath of the Wild turned a lot of people on to Zelda who really didn't probably give a shit about Zelda for a very long time, and the people who played Hyrule Warriors were Zelda heads, you know, or Dynasty Warriors heads who are already familiar with the genre and are going to talk about it for a while. But here it was either people who like just finished the story and went, "All right, it's done." That's just more Breath of the Wild. But
yeah.
You got to take sense. Christine. What's the word on Age of Calamity stuff?
I've got to take the problem with the Hyrule Warriors games is that they don't do anything with the Muso formula. So a lot of us Muso heads are just like, well, I don't really need to play that much because it does nothing new. It is just a generic Dynasty Warriors where I could go, okay, I can go play Warriors Orochi 4 or 3 and get like 4 different games in one, like, or something unique instead of, you know, and it's the same with like, you know, the Persona spinoff. That's popular with both fans because it does something unique with the formula and different. Whereas the Hyrule Warriors ones, it felt like Nintendo just said, play it safe, make a generic Warriors game without anything, because it plays like a mediocre Dynasty Warriors. Like, that's what it plays like.
I believe it from the like Muso head angle. I believe it, but like I know it's the only one of those that I've personally liked because you know it was still Zelda. I think that's why people who liked it was like I liked the little funny modes they had and the Wind Waker like flourish stuff they did where it's like you bring out the King of Red Lions and stuff when you play as the king, like that's fun. But like if you're not a Zelda head.
Yeah, I will say, like, the adventure mode from the original Hyrule Warriors was the best part of that game.
It was.
That was
definitely
absolutely fantastic. That was what I wanted, and Age of Calamity didn't do anything new.
Yeah, it seems very straightforward and
Whereas usually, like, you go from one, like, I'll take the what's it called, the pirate one. My brain.
Right. Yeah. They didn't do enough new. They didn't do enough new. Yeah.
All of them are different.
Right.
So,
and like and also it has that horrible ending that just retcons the entire game for Breath of the Wild, and it's like, oh, the apocalypse never happened, and it's like, okay.
From a business side, I found it to be kind of a rare case where a Nintendo property, especially Zelda, is giving us too much too quickly. And a lot of that's because they wanted to cash in on A, the surprise amount of hype for Hyrule Warriors, and B, the Breath of the Wild scenario. And so they just slapped together this thing with without changing too much of the Hyrule Warriors formula. While if you play Hyrule Warriors, that game's like 50 hours. There's so much you could do with it. It's huge and could easily have a lifespan of like 3 or 4 years on its own without anyone even being like, I wonder when they're going to make a new one. Like, there's so much inside of that game. And so now it's like, oh, there's another one. Okay. Do you want me to play another 50 hours of this? Because I
don't need another one of these. I've gotten my fill for like my entire life.
Yeah, the last 50 hours, that one had like the range of like 12 different. It had like every Zelda character in it that wasn't Breath of the Wild. It was just, it spans so much, and this was just the one game.
Right.
The one open world, notable for how empty it is game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then they also showed off a Zelda Game & Watch. Like they had that Mario Game & Watch.
Yeah, they did.
That had Mario 1 and 2.
That
They're
was
doing
crazy.
a Zelda one. You know, it's cute. I like it. There's just like one little caveat about it. Like it's got Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and Link's Awakening on it. It's not Link's Awakening DX. That is the caveat. Like I know that there's some people who think Link's Awakening DX doesn't look as nice, but it's an enhanced version of that game.
Yeah.
They should have the version of it, you know. That would be nice. But you know, it's a cute little thing. I think it's like $50. You know, which I mean, I know that like that seems like a lot for what it is, but it's cute. It's a cute little knickknack for people who have too much money. But you know,
Yeah.
I think
They
there's
put
like
Lincoln Vermintide.
it'd be a good gift for a kid too. I think they would get a real fun kick out of it.
Probably, yeah.
This is the Amico killer.
They did it.
Yeah, they did it.
I mean, honestly, the most appealing part of it is, hey, here's a playable clock. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm sure that there's a way to hack. You know,
Oh, you feeling okay, John? Just a little sick, a little under the weather.
yeah, I gotta.
Happens. That's the E3 fever that's setting in
Yeah.
from overexposure.
Yeah. And then they showed off a trailer for the sequel to Breath of the Wild that they say is not going to be called Breath of the Wild 2. It's going to have a new subtitle, but it is the direct sequel to Breath of the Wild. It looked like Breath of the Wild, but with sky stuff now. You could be in the sky, and Zelda's in a hole. And that's it.
Rose, you enjoy Link in
This
Free Fall. What's your take on this?
All right, I do enjoy Lincoln Freefall. You are correct. So here, the time travel mechanic, I think, tells me that the game is going to be time travel focused, and that's the entire gimmick of it. I think the whole thing is going to be that Link goes back in time and he sees the sky stuff or whatever, and then there's also the current day one with all this spooky stuff or what have you. That's what I think it's going to be.
If he goes back in time, can you go to that little cave and murk yourself and get a bad ending?
I would hope so. I think that would be good. The one thing, actually, that I remembered is he does have a Midna arm. That's
Yep.
pretty cool. That again, what I was hoping for with this game is I was hoping Zelda had a big focus in it, which you know maybe she does. You know, remains to be seen. But I don't exactly have
She's
the
in a
highest
hole.
hopes for Nintendo. She fell in a hole, like in the
She's in a
trailer.
hole.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe she does some cool underworld stuff. Who knows? I highly doubt it based on recent showings of Zelda. But
yeah.
I think like when I saw that first teaser, I was like, oh man, they're gonna do like a Majora's Mask stuff, and they were saying in interviews like we want to do more Majora's Mask stuff where it's spooky, and like there's some of that, but like I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
like I think they burned a lot of my goodwill and faith in them with the back steps that Breath of the Wild took. That I really have to see a deep dive video to have faith again.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
just like narratively, Breath of the Wild is such a like. Hey, if you tell me there's not going to be any trans or gay jokes this time, I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm
That's
glad
a
that you
step
fixed
forward,
that.
yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
Or the racism, also like, it's unreal. It's
I keep watching him slurp through this floor, and it's so funny.
yeah, it's just like I really
Yeah.
like. Again, here's the thing.
disturbing.
I'm a big Zelda head. I'm a huge Zelda head. Like I've played Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time like 7 billion times, but like, man, Breath of the Wild like destroyed my soul.
Yeah.
If anything, it made me realize how much I appreciated Breath of the Wild from a gameplay standpoint, and that's more or less the similar aspect that I find here. It made me realize that, like, oh no, this is just a variety of games that I do enjoy and just pick around with, and so if I'm being assured that I'm getting more of that, then that's where my base satisfaction is at. Again, it's cool that he has a little demon arm, basically. Like, that's...
Yeah,
We here at Video Game Choo Choo, we love demon arms.
I agree.
yeah, we do.
Fact.
We are pro demon arms. But
Lord God hands.
yeah, who doesn't love a god hand? That being said,
Maybe.
there's always
My demon arm.
yeah, there it is. That being said, there's always room for improvement on the narrative itself, and I think for everything that I can say positive, like it's a script doctoring game for me, if anything else. I very much think a lot about what could have been included or what could have been there, and that's the same thing here, even though, we have no idea where else the sequel can go, but based on what's already been shown, I understand the hesitation from a lot of people that are invested story-wise.
I think like part of it also is I really hope that they listened to Monolith Soft this time, because I know there were a lot of interviews with the director of Monolith Soft, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, where he was saying like, we have to make the map for these games, and we were kind of like really disappointed when they made Breath of the Wild, and like Solon joked earlier, like they didn't put anything there, like they just took our map and just like put like 7 people in it.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, like I guess you could do that. So I hope they listen to them this time and actually like replicate like even just a Xenoblade style of thing where there's like stuff to find that's like more interesting than just a shrine.
Yeah. A shrine, a random merchant walking down the street, get 300 of these things for a golden poop.
Big horse.
I don't respect Breath of the Wild 2. I don't like the direction of Breath of the Wild 2, and I also think that this funny floating castle gimmick, that's the whole like thing about this new one, is really funny based on what we've seen from Breath of the Wild 1. You're like, oh, you don't think Link can't get 30 feet up there? I'll show you a Link that'll go higher. You want to? Link's got at this point in Breath of the Wild, Link's got his own space shuttle system that he can use to go wherever he wants.
Yeah.
Let's see how fast. Like those speedrunners are gonna break this game in like 3 hours. They're gonna like this game is gonna come out and people are gonna be done with it in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's the same powers, right? Like who knows if they didn't like just remove it and give you new ones or something.
I'm gonna tell you from here, from what I've seen from Breath of the Wild and how they develop these games, I don't think they changed anything. I don't think so either. But if it involves working harder, I'm pretty sure they clicked and dragged all of the work from someone else over to the new one.
I think like reusing the castle alone is disappointing to me, because it's like, what does Hyrule Castle even mean anymore in that world, right? Like it was just the Ganon place, and
if anything, they're going to add something new that breaks it much faster, like John said. In a way they had no idea what's going to happen. Totally. It'll be very fun to watch the speedruns of this. There are definitely parts of this that I think are super neat. Just and even if I don't like this, there's plenty of other Zelda. They don't stop making Zelda, so like I'm not hurting for Zelda. Of all the Nintendo properties, I'm not hurting for Zelda. They don't stop making Zelda.
They made like Link Between Worlds. That's the only one in like the last 9 years that isn't Breath of the Wild.
Nah, they remade the cartoony little one for me. That was mine. I liked that.
I guess you're right.
Link's Awakening, that remake was awesome.
It is a good game.
Yeah. One thing is for sure, we still don't know if Morshu is in it or not. So
that's true. We gotta see where is he.
Keeping an eye on those Guanum hints.
It's time for him to come back. He's gonna be even more rich. I want a full boss fight. I want to fight Morshu. That's what I want.
High-res Girahim and his creepy ass tongue.
He's a friend.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
I had to look at your rig to make sure that wasn't literally happening. I was like, oh shit.
No, I can't do that. Don't worry. Yeah.
Richer. So that was that. There were 2 more things that weren't directly tied to the direct, because there was
redirected
more
content.
Yeah, there's some other stuff. So I did put the trailer in there, Solon. They did announce they put a new Super Robot Wars game out. They announced that at the Japanese direct. Who knows how that's going to go over here, because that's always like a rights nightmare to bring out over here.
I don't know what this is. What is Super Robot Wars?
It's a turn-based RPG where you play as a bunch of different robots from a bunch of different anime. Like it's just a big crossover. It's just a big mecha nerd like wet dream basically. because you just want to see your favorite mechs do all their cool moves like really well animated. That's all it is.
Awesome.
It's just, hey,
Yeah.
It's been like an institution for like 30 years,
in Japan, but not over here. Oh, not over here because licensing.
Because they can't release it over here. Yeah,
That
I mean,
makes
like
sense.
they have made Super Robot Wars games that could be released over here, but that's because they just use original characters. It's that sort of thing.
And like half the ones they release over here are their weird like Super Robot Wars, Tizen OG Saga, weird little like Xenoblade let's cross over 30 things that eventually became that big crossover game with Namco and Sega and Capcom.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay,
yeah. So it exists, but the thing is that they always do get translated because they get released in like Southeast Asia, so you can always import it. And especially nowadays with the Switch, that like you can very easily make like foreign like accounts to download onto your Switch really easily. It is a lot easier to get those games. So if you are interested in them, you can very much get them. But it is very much just like, hey, you have to import these games. You have to be a huge mecha nerd because you have to be like. You have to be invested in these characters to give a damn, because it is 100% just, oh my god, they put Zabungle in this game! Oh shit! Like, it's that sort of thing.
And especially the character interactions, where it's like, hey, what if you had Shinji hang out with Simon from Gurren Lagann? Maybe he'd feel like a little bit okayer. And that's actually in one of the games.
Yeah, it is.
That's
and
neat.
It's great. All of it's great.
Yeah.
They're
good strategy RPGs too. Well, they're decent strategy RPGs.
Yeah, they're fine.
Quality enough that the novelty of it isn't the only thing keeping you playing.
Nice.
Yeah.
The novelty's like 90% of it, but that other 10%, it's like, this is still a fine strategy RPG. Yeah, if you've played like Christine said, if you've played like Project Cross Zone, it is like that. It is that same gameplay. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is No More Heroes. Travis is back, baby. We got No More Heroes 3. They could not show it on the mainstream because Travis has a potty mouth. So they had to separate it out after the Treehouse stream.
For good boys and girls.
Yeah. But it looks so good.
It does. It
looks digging it.
Oh.
It looks so stylish. I will say some of the writing didn't really land for me. Like I feel like Suda's trying a little too hard with the meta humor. Like I liked a lot of the meta humor in No More Heroes 2. Like, and like Travis like trying to speak as a gamer, trying to like be like, gamers don't like that kind of stuff. Like I some of that's funny, but like going too hard on it is when it gets a little like come on, but there were so many things that I was just like being a total nerd about. Like,
the gameplay they showed us was the 9th boss fight specifically. So like the very first or second one that we're gonna fight, which really establishes your characters and their personalities anyway. So it might be a little over the top right now, and it probably will get more nuanced later.
Yeah.
I love the UI. The UI looks incredible. They added the Death Glove from the Death Drive from Travis Strikes Again, so he has new abilities that you can equip, and also the different things that you can equip can also like change your stats. There are just like more ways to interact with the game, with the gameplay, than the very basic ways that you were doing it in the older No More Heroes. They wanted to make this a more of an experience. So that is definitely a huge bonus. I love the style though. Like everything about this game is just so fucking slick.
Yeah,
it is so cool.
Yeah, now that we have these Death Drive options, we're used to having like the hack and slash kind of like be the main focus of everything, the push and pull of the sword combat. But just having a button that will like use a consumable and fuck people up is exactly what this game needed, because No More Heroes is really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they very explicitly like talked about how they like later on in this when they do the boss fight, like the person playing like loses to show like that you can like spin a wheel and then you might land and get like a 1.5 times attack multiplier and like some other stuff like that. There are ways that they don't punish you for getting fucked over, because yeah, you're right, like No More Heroes is pretty hard. And like some of that is like on purpose, and some of it is just because like those first two games are really janky. But this definitely feels like it was like there is a lot more polish, I think, in the combat here, just from what I've seen, which is very exciting. I am very, very excited with how it looks. Just like I was watching this like. It was great. I loved it a lot. Yeah, and yeah, you get like items that you can collect to like craft new Death Glove chips and all that, so you can pick and choose the things that you're getting for your upgrades. They show some other stuff too. They showed like going to the motel, and that was wild, because now the motel is like 3 stories, and the bottom floor is just like Dr. Naomi's lab. She just has a lab down there now, which is pretty funny. Just a lot of things that I was just sitting there like, oh, they did this, oh, they did this. There's more mini games where you play with Cat Jean. It's great.
Yay!
Yeah, it looks great.
What a good goalie.
This game looks just completely rad, completely up my alley. So I'm ready. I'm ready. It's not
on that cute kitty.
I don't know if I'd say it like that, but sure. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. Of course I am. But yeah. No More Heroes. It's not long. It's like a month and a half, 2 months about. Yeah. 2.5 months away.
I'm here to show you my cool ass freaky tree and the power up system that you get in this one.
Yeah, like my nerd, like they brought back the Hotline Miami arcade machine from Travis X again. Like,
and my buddy from fucking
and the guy from Let It Die. Yeah, he's there.
When's Uncle Death gonna show up? I want Uncle Death to show up.
He's got to show up. He's got to show up.
Uncle. Hey,
listen, like Suda has been saying this is supposed to be like his big MCU crossover Avengers thing for the Sudaverse. Everyone's gonna show up and wish me a happy birthday. Like it's gonna be Game Master Anthony for Kill the Past fans. That's what it's gonna be. So it's time.
I'm in absolute love. I adore every single one of these interfaces that you work with and UIs that are in this game.
Yeah.
When anytime there's a context menu that's like, hey, press A to interact with this thing, like borders show up around the entire screen. It's really incredible to look at.
It's super sick. Look at that.
Press the fuck out of A, and then you come here and it's like, oh, this is a completely different looking interface, but it also looks so clean.
Yeah, they had so much fun with like every single bit of this game. Like you could just tell that everyone involved was just like, how can I make this look as wild and as just fun as possible? Like
those Bionic Commando ass looking screens.
Yeah, I love it. They
so
just
good.
Everything about it is so intricate and fun. Just so fun. So yeah, No More Heroes 3.
Excited.
It's happening.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so good. But that was that. That was the day.
It was a good day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very good day. Morning.
To bring something up I wanted to talk about. Last night they also put out the Halo multiplayer trailer to explain what that is going to be like. Yeah, they put out this whole thing because they only like barely talked about it during the Xbox presser. the Halo one, it was like 15 minutes or so, and they just talked about like all the stuff they're doing for it, and it sounds really good. Like they're going back to old Halo style, less Call of Duty-fied. Like they wanted to go back to more old Halo stuff. Things that stood out to me were the customization is like really in depth now, and you can like have prosthetic limbs and stuff like that, and like choose exactly like your gloves and all that shit, like going all the way down that way. And they also created a tutorial mode, and I think that's the thing that I really like, because it's like an actual thing that's like, hey, here's how you shoot, here's how you do headshots, here's how to do the battle rifle, you know, 4-shot combo that everyone does for the battle rifle. It's like this little area you can walk around in that's like a training range, but they have bots going around, and like they have them walking through specific, like, you know, this is what a Halo player would do, that you can try to like learn this behavior. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. You can go through Ninja's origins before he descended into darkness.
Yeah. They also have like someone said the grappling hook. Scott said that the grappling hook is like insanely good. You can use it to grab weapons like off the ground. So like you can, like, someone's going for the energy sword, you can just grapple hook it away from them instead, and then you have it, which I think is really cool.
Yoink.
They brought back the equipment from Halo 3. Like you pick it up and you use it on a button. And made it stuff like the grappling hook, I think, is that. There's overshields and stuff like that. The usual stuff, bubble shields. You can store weapons on cars now, which is really cool. So like someone was just putting a gravity hammer on the trunk of a Warthog, and I was like, sure.
Cool.
The cool thing about it also was the battle passes. So the way Master Chief Collection works is they just have all the battle passes active all the time, and you just use whatever points on whatever set of rewards you want. And they're just going to make all battle passes permanent in this one, so you never have to worry that you've missed out on a reward, which is really good, because that's a huge problem with games like Apex or Destiny. It's like, you know, that they get you with that FOMO. You don't want to miss out on that reward. You don't want to miss out on that armor, even if you don't feel like playing the game right now.
Yeah.
So it just looked really good.
Yeah, that's why I fell off those games too. Is like, hey, here's the battle pass stuff. It's why I never got into Fortnite, because it's just like, oh, if I don't put in the effort, I'm gonna be behind in certain ways, and it's like, whatever. I'm just not going to play your game, even though I enjoy it. Like, I loved Apex my first few weeks in there, but then I saw how felt like how slow going it was through the first battle pass they released, and I just stopped playing.
The other thing with customization I forgot to say is they also are letting you pick an AI, because the fun thing about Halo in the books was like the AI go crazy. Like there's like owls, there's like, you know, like weird eldritch dudes who are just it's the AIs decide what they look like, and now you just get to pick whichever one you have for your onboard stuff. And I think it just seems like a really well thought out stuff. It feels like something I wasn't expecting out of 343, I guess, given their history. Because like 4 was like whack, 5 was thoughtful but also whack. So I just think like it's really nice to see them get back to like, oh cool, they're actually like moving Halo forward. It probably also helps that these are separate like games, basically, right? Like the multiplayer is its own thing that you download separately, and the campaign's its own thing.
Yeah, it seems like they have a lot more focus than they did before on how they want to, you know, distribute their teams and get people in the right spot to actually make Halo the way that people want Halo to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Took a long time to get there, but there's still
10
optimism
years.
and hope, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad. I'm really excited for it.
I
didn't think I would be excited for it, but
like there's actually optimism coming into this one instead of the last one where most people were just like, well, we made fun of it.
Well, there's a weird thing with Halo and 343 specifically, that unlike a lot of game studios, you'll have like, if something flops, people will just peace out. But people may have like kind of not had a lot of faith in 343, but they always had the idea that their hearts were in the right place. Like the people would be looking at these and be like, I know they're trying their hardest, they just aren't there. And there was kind of this like weird idea, a vague thought of like, what is Halo supposed to look like then? We're trying to make it looks like this, right? And people are like, no. Then how does it look like? Not that. And they're like, okay, we'll try again. Like, their hearts are in the right place, and so hopefully this will be the time that it like seals that, hey, this whole 343 Bungie moving out and 343 moving in, this will work. We're getting there, I swear. I think 7 years of a break probably helped, right? Like, it's been 7 years since 5, I think. So like that, like if that game had actually come out last year, like they said, could you imagine? Like, yeah. I don't know much about 343 nearly as much as I would like Bungie or something, but they are neighbors, and I do know they tip really well. They're really nice. I've never met anyone from 343 that isn't like just the sweetest person, and that's all I can say. They tip well.
Good.
Well,
yeah.
That's one good thing, I guess.
Give them that.
We're finishing the fight.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's going to be good this time.
Well, folks, I think we're done here. Unless there's any straggling E3 thoughts that you all have. I mean, this was a new thing. This was a new format. I think that we really buckled down and did a good job, I'd say. So, thank you, Solon and Scott, both of you. Fantastic job producing. And thank you, everyone else who sat on and talked about games, talked about E3. I thought this was just a wonderful time. Is there anything that you all would like to say about E3? I mean, we could go one by one, or if there's maybe someone who doesn't want to say anything, that's fine too.
Some closing thoughts.
E3 is a weird animal, and I think this year kind of proved that it's lost its place. And you've seen it with so many companies like leaving to start their own thing and really only doing something so they can keep their spot in the stream lineup, pretty much. Like, what the hell was the point of 10 minutes of Namco Bandai today? We didn't talk about it because it was fucking pointless. It was just 10 minutes of blowing smoke up their own ass so they could talk about their war game and, like, so they could keep their spot for next year. And then you have shit like the Blancos guys coming on and jacking off over NFTs. And then you have Microsoft and Nintendo really being the only people who are like, okay, we're just going to do our thing. And everyone else is, we just want to keep our spot. And it feels like more and more of that is going to go away. And we are not going to see this E3 hype anymore. You're just going to see a bunch of individual events around June and July every year that are the summer, this is our own things. And I think this year really proved that E3 as a consumer show, like as an appealing to consumers, is dead in the water, like is pointless now.
I would disagree, actually. Even after everything today, this week, I would disagree in so much that maybe E3 is dead, maybe the ESA is dead. I wouldn't mind that at all, actually. But I think there is still plenty of room for the idea of a centralized gaming conference, an expo of E3's size and scope. And the changes that need to be made to make that happen and make that valuable, because E3 did not succeed in any way whatsoever, but everything around E3 was extremely successful, and we're a part of that. Yeah. The Twitch streaming, the co-streaming, even though there was a lot of snafus with that because of other things outside of their control, all of the arms and ligatures around E3 worked to support a centralized show of some kind. So the change that needs to be made for me, in my eyes, is that a better effort at curation and a better ethos around like what kinds of projects and productions are we showing at this show. If they can lock that down in a way that makes for a clearer focus and doesn't just rely on their last about decade or so of just like, we're grabbing the old guard and we're focusing on them. That's not how things work in the game system anymore. It's just too large of an industry to have just one centralized thing. That's why we have so many different conferences and conventions around the year now. And E3's spot in June, like Christine was saying, totally valuable. It needs curation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have
think
anything, Maverick?
Yeah, I mean, this is technically the first E3 that I actually had to not only be just like a consumer, but also someone that is like having critical thought to an extent. And if anything, it helped me realize a lot more of the curative, like how much curation does go into an event like this. But then also, you know, from that consumer standpoint, I started thinking this year in terms of like what I would want to look into again in this pseudo-critical lens that I now have access to. As like, you know, I'm gonna review, I'm gonna look at the New World Ends With You game, and maybe if I hear anything about Sable, I'll probably look into that. There's not much else going on. I now have at least like a handful of games that I know are coming out later this year that I want to get the jump on, that I want to at least have a stake in, and specifically because of the fact that due to some of the turnaround with the setups, like a lot of these I think would have just been on the show floor that I would have seen secondhand at a trailer months in advance or a week before they would actually be released. And, you know, the highlights of this week for me were Wholesome Games and they were Day of the Devs. Just the opportunity to see a lot of stuff that I totally had no, not even so much an interest in, I just wasn't aware of. And those events, like highlighting specific scenes even in the gaming industry, really helped to just make me realize like, oh no, there is stuff out there. It's just that I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago when I saw like Kid Icarus Uprising and Donkey Kong Returns all in the same setup, because I was going to school then and I had to ask my mom for money for games. Now I need to balance games as an actual like influx. I make sure not to do the drill candles tweet, but with video games whenever I'm able to, because I realize that help me budget my E3, because I realize one, it is something I still want to be invested in, but two, I need to have more of an active say in that. And so it's good to have this curation point, but then it also is just like, it helps to breathe whenever I'm having to be in the middle of other stuff to say, oh, okay, there is things are happening, and I at least have a yes or no approach to what I'm interested in and what I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, welcome. I'm glad that was your first one. That was cool.
Yeah. Rose, do you have anything?
I always have fun with E3. I don't know. I think I think the ESA has sunk to new lows this year by letting the Blanco shit actually occupy anyone's brain, stuff like that. But I think like everything else was fine. I think like again, I've been continuously impressed year after year by how good the Xbox ones actually are, even if I'm not necessarily like all in on their games. Like they're just well put together shows. Like just bump, no wasted time except for Forza.
What?
Forza was really good.
Forza looks really good, but like they don't need 10 minutes when everyone else has 2, you know? Like
I would disagree.
That's the thought. Okay. Oh, all right.
Well, they can fill 10 minutes very easily.
But no, yeah. I think that Nintendo's Treehouse format is still really, really good ever since they started doing it. Having those in-depth demos is really helpful. I think it would be better if they got even more demos, maybe, instead of like some of the weird stuff they do sometimes. But it's still very good. I shudder to think, looking behind me, I shudder to think how bad the Sony presser will be when it happens, because those have not a single one has been good.
Never.
They've had good games in them. And they've still not been good. They've been really, really bad. I do miss my man playing the giant flute. I would like to see him, but like I think like this E3 not having that stupid degree of pageantry that most of the shows have, I think was just good, because that stuff is just dumb. That's just whack, and I'm fine with it being gone forever, even if this year it's just because COVID happened.
And like honestly, we talked about curation a lot, and I think one of the best things they could do is make it so companies don't have to do something to keep a spot. Like if we don't do something, we might not be able to get a thing next year, is what causes some of the stuff like Namco Bandai and like a lot of the shit from yesterday and the day before, which was just like, why is this even here? Like, why? Whereas if you didn't require that and companies could just, hey, let's get in, let's organize it every year. This is what this company has. This is what, okay, well, they're getting a press conference, yada, yada, yada. In a more organized, curated way, you wouldn't have as much of a end of the day where most of us are sitting there going, we were just miserable in a call for an hour watching Randy Pitchford jack himself off over a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
please curate better for next year and get rid of the thing that people need to do things. It's like Konami was the smart company coming out and saying, hey, we just don't have enough to show, so we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Let more companies do that and not risk losing a spot.
Well, all I'll say is that I really liked the Nintendo conference. That's it. You know, I don't know. It was. I thought it was a fun time to do this. This whole thing was fun. So that's what I'm gonna look forward to from now on. Is just being able to talk with my friends about video games. And that was that.
Yeah,
I think that should do it.
Yes.
Thanks everyone for watching. It's been a really good time, but we're done. E3 is over.
We're done.
We're done. I mean, we're not 100% done. We have to post this stuff, but
We'll clean stuff up on our end. Yep.
Yeah, we're almost done. So that'll be it. We're gonna take a nice break. We're not gonna do a podcast this week. We're not gonna do the anime podcast for a bit. We're gonna take a nice break because this was a lot. But we'll be back. We'll come back and do some stuff soon. We'll keep talking about video games. I mean, we've talked enough about games for a while, you know. It's been, I mean, we condensed things, but it was still a lot. So, yeah. But thank you all so much for watching. This is a real nice time. And you know, that'll do it. Thanks again. We'll you know, I'd be happy to do something like this again sometime, even if it's not just E3, you know. So we'll figure it out. We'll keep working on stuff. Make sure that you find us at videogamechoochoo.com. That's our website. We got our Twitter account at VGCC. We got our Tumblr, videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com. And we have our Discord server, which I guess is at thegamezone.zone. It still might be broken. I think you might. Oh, I think it's because you have to type it in HTTP instead of HTTPS.
Got you.
Yeah. Whatever the fuck.
Parents'
But
permission.
yeah, you need your parents' permission to log on. I mean, you know, we're not doing anything too rancid in there. But yeah, drop the S. Drop it. Drop the S. And you know, if you like what we're doing here, the best thing you could do is to drop us $3 a month, because we have our Patreon, patreon.com/VGCC. If you do this kind of stuff, that helps us get stuff like these mics and, you know, like webcams, this thing. Can also help us get games too to cover, you know. Any kind of support helps though, so just, you know, spread us around, tell people about us. If you liked what this was, tell people, you know, it all helps out. Who's saying I'm telling lies in the chat? What kind of lies?
Wow.
That's not, I'm speaking only truth here. We are trying to do our best. All right.
You know, part of the Patreon funds went to this very nice smoking jacket that John has.
No, I got this in middle school. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty. No, I don't think it was middle school. I think this is high school. I think this is what I wore to prom.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, no, this was paid for already.
And this is why we are now starting to help John get a new suit fund.
Yeah, there you go.
And
That'll
one
be-
more thing.
Yeah.
But wait, just
One more thing.
But of course,
there he
yes,
is.
yes. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh God. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We'll be back soon with more video game Choo Choo content. Yeah, so let it out. Let it go. Free.
yeah.
Freedom.